What's up and welcome back, guys. On the North American servers, Blitz has an abnormally high ban rate in comparison to other servers. He's the 6th most banned champion at a ban rate of almost 40%, while on other servers his ban rate is below 20% or even below 10%. This leads me to believe that a lot of players in North America are scared of playing against Blitz, so I'm here to give you all a few tips that I use to have an easier time dealing with him. For starters, we have to recognize that Blitzcrank's level 1 is actually pretty bad in even skirmishes, such as a full-out 5v5 level 1 fight or a 2v2 fight bottom. The part that screws teams over in level 1 is that they split up and allow Blitz to catch a single person. When I see the other team pick Blitz, the first thing I do is tell my team, buy fast and group by blue for invade and champion select. Blitz players are typically pretty predictable even at diamond, and they almost always invade blue buff level 1. If your team groups up in the banana brush and catches Blitz off guard instead of the other way around, your team is very likely to come out ahead, especially if you have a strong level 1 champions. The early game first blood that Blitzcranks often pick up at the beginning of the game is typically what snowballs the game in their advantage, so getting your team to cooperate here is a pretty big deal. Also, as a general rule, it's pretty nice to check your jungler's buffs for them. For example, as a blue side support, you should be checking red at 2 minutes if your jungler is starting blue. As a blue side top lane, you should be checking blue at 2 minutes if your jungler is starting red. You would be leeching for that 5 seconds regardless, so it's not like you're going to miss a bunch of minions for checking or anything. And obviously this applies for purple side too. Rewinding back to champion select, as a general rule, I typically don't pick squishy supports if Blitz is open, simply because they don't leave a whole lot of room for error. For example, if you get gripped in lane, you're probably going to die before you even get a chance to do anything meaningful. Defensive runes such as health quintessences help with this, but it's not something I like to depend on. Don't get me wrong, squishy supports can do well against Blitz, but even if you only get hooked 1 time out of 10, that 1 time may snowball the lane out of control, so it's something I would rather just avoid overall. While Blitz players generally have a good time against squishy supports, tanky melee supports like Alistar, and Leona, and Taric are a nightmare for him to deal with. Blitz depends on being able to kill someone with his upfront burst, but if he's not able to do that, he becomes quite useless after he's blown all of his spells. Tanky supports can quite literally win the lane by standing on top of their AD the entire laning phase. If Blitz tries to grip the AD, the support gets gripped instead and gets a free gap closer to the enemy AD. The biggest instance of this is Alistar, where if Blitzcrank grabs Alistar, not only is he getting a huge tanky cow in his face, but he's going to get pulverized and headbutted into the tower. Similarly, Leona and Taric want nothing more than a free gap closer that puts them closer to the enemy AD for a free burst combo. Picking a tanky support essentially forces the Blitz player to sit back and do nothing for the entire laning phase. In fact, we saw this in motion at the All-Stars event when Mad Life picked Alistar against Edward's Blitzcrank and essentially removed Edward's ability to play the game he wanted to. Outside of supports, AD carries with escapes do well against Blitzcrank too. For example, Tristan is a good pick against Blitz because she has long range, and Rocket Jump is a pretty good escape, unless you're playing against a high-level Blitz that knows how to interrupt Rocket Jump. Also, I'm sure that everyone knows at this point that Ezreal is a very safe pick against Blitz because of his Arcane Shift. It quite literally makes Blitz's pool obsolete. If you don't know why, I suggest checking out this video. While laning, you have to know when to show Blitz respect. For example, if you're playing a squishy support, you have to respect the hook and play safe. On the other hand, if you're playing a tanky support, you don't have to respect the hook as much as long as you're not by their tower. That being said, if you form a habit of not carrying, they may catch on and call the jungler to lane gank. No matter who you're playing though, if Blitz misses a hook, you're allowed to start playing aggressive for the next 15 seconds. His pool is not only the biggest source of damage, but also what makes him scary in the first place, so if he doesn't have that available, he's open to counterattack. Blitzcrank players will typically pink ward the brushes that they're standing in, but if they aren't, try to get them warded so you know where the hook is going to come from. If after all that, Blitz is still a problem for your team, the 2 biggest tips for the mid to late game are 1, lots of wards, and 2, always be the one initiating, unless your team is specifically tailored against it. Having wards over the map will prevent Blitz from catching single champions out of place, which is what he'll be looking to do. Blitz doesn't offer as much as other supports in full-on engagements. His strength is in singling out targets one at a time. If you deny his ability to do that by keeping good vision around the map and engaging before he's able to single someone out, he should come out ahead in teamfights. Of course, this all kind of goes out the window when your team is way behind in gold and you don't want to engage on them, but honestly, Blitz is just one of those champions that's really hard to deal with when you're behind. It's kind of like playing against a Nidalee, Jace, pre-nerf Kha'Zix, or any other poke-oriented champion. You just have to cower behind your turret and wait for your opportunity. Hopefully the game won't get to that point if you're able to counter him in the early stages of the game. Blitz is probably my favorite champion at the moment, so I feel a little dirty releasing this video, but I hope you all can put the information to good use. As always, if you found this video helpful, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. And if you didn't, tell me that too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.